Hello, everybody. So, Hala Citron and LaChelle Amos here, and we are so excited to come together. I was just so inspired after we had a workshop yesterday called Lines Between the Sounds. And it was the first time I had done the doodling aspect before, but I had never collaborated with a sound artist before, and we just wanted to come on and kind of talk about the things that we learned, and so much of what came through for me. I'm going to say right before. We actually started talking. I love how Lachelle said it was kind of like from the head to the heart.
Mhm.
So whenever
Yeah.
we start and enter into a space, whether it be work, whether it be a workshop, whether it be whatever it is, we're often up here because we don't always know what to expect. So then as the time progresses, we eventually is the goal to move from here so we get out of the busyness of our head.
Yeah. And I would just add to that, not sometimes it's beyond just we don't know what we're expecting, but or what to expect of it. But like on the other side of that, sometimes we, without even realizing it, we've already put expectations coming into the workshop of what we want to get out of it or how, um, like how to show up in it. And so it's also like either way, it's releasing attachment to the expectations. And as we come out of this like busy brainwave states and actually soften into the space of our hearts where we're connecting the mental with the rest of the body.
Yes. So there's this wholeness, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, so it was so beautiful to see like connection. So here I put it, the power of connection, because there really was so much. I felt like there was kind of connection with the people around, but more importantly, the connection of internalizing. So
Mhm.
of going inside with intuition and self-awareness and then being able to come out. So when you go in, then you can connect better on the out.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Like as we create that space to allow ourselves to go inward, right? And to let the worries of the day kind of fade away, then we connect to those around us in ways that we may not even be aware of in the midst of the connection. And I was so pleased to see that it came through really strongly yesterday in the workshop because there were connective threads that showed up during our sharing session when participants who chose to share talked a bit about that first doodling session and then what kind of came through in that second one. And as more participants shared, there was this thread that even showed up, for example, in the colors and how that's like the colors that different participants individually used, and that even reflects in the sound because those colors, the frequency of them reflected in the notes that intuitively were coming through more strongly through me for the sound bath. And that is a level of connection that no one can anticipate, right? It's so beautiful.
So beautiful. I mean, what was amazing was, so for anybody who doesn't know what it was, so we basically opened up with took people through doodling and expanding the idea of what line is, and then bringing in positive adjectives and the way people want to see themselves or see themselves. So they have a visual, and then Lachelle took us through a sound bath, and then we doodled again. So that whole vibration, that whole being in that space of being immersed. And it was just so interesting because I know for me being a participant in listening, all of a sudden at first I kind of had to wriggle into it and I was just kind of like, okay, body. In my head, I was like, okay, Hollis, relax, relax, relax. And then I'm like, stop telling myself to relax. This internal argument. And then all of a sudden the sound started just kind of like you said, like it just started like a blanket. It just kind of started relaxing into it. And then those moments where all of a sudden there were like bursts of colors. And then I was actually seeing images and kind of stories were creating in my head, but not in a stressful way. And then when I came out, it was just so interesting to see people's, because people were a little bit controlling in the first doodle, and the second one was so much more free flowing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was clear in all of them. It was really beautiful to see. And you weren't the only one who during the sound bath had a specific image come in during the sound, and then that was incorporated into the second doodle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you were saying, like, you touched on was the idea that, like, one of the bowls that you were using was for the crown chakra, which is purple,
Mhm. Yep.
and
Yeah.
then the heart chakra, which was green, and I was seeing waves of purple and green, like, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I would say ab- about half about half of the group incorporated those colors in that second doodle. Um, without like any mention, I didn't explain anything about the colors because I didn't know that that had come through for the participants until the sharing session after the second doodle was finalized. So yeah, that was amazing. That was beautiful to see.
And just this whole concept of tapping into your intuition. So through the like, just listening to your gut and trusting your gut and I mean, if you take it to life, it's like how we want to live is really to trust ourselves and to trust what we're feeling and what we're being guided to do. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and to do that without that mental expectation, right? That's when we're in the fullest flow, that greatest alignment with our highest self, with our inner desires, with our heart, is when we can come into that place of trust without the evaluation, the criticism, the judgment, the expectation. Because all of those things are are our ego.
So there we go, everybody. This is the goal. We've just solved it for you, even though you know this. It's like the goal today, work on getting out of here and getting into here. And whatever that means for you today, if that's meditation, if that's dancing, if that's going out into nature, if that's cooking, if that's hanging out with the person you want to hang out with and talk to, whatever it is that kind of gets you into that space where you're just that flow.
Or even just following the flow of your breath. Like if you don't have a lot of time to create a specific activity for yourself, if it's a really busy day, like just take the 30 seconds to just follow the flow of your breath in and out of your nose. Maybe even allow that breath to come down into your heart and let it flow in and out of that space. And begin to notice what happens after just a short period of following the breath.
So much. It can be like, it changes everything. It's very
Yeah.
grounding.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's more to come. We are going to be working more together and possibly with different mediums and just so many possibilities.
Yeah, possibly some different themes, like very specific themes for upcoming workshops.
Yeah. Yeah. So tune in. And yeah, we're just very grateful to the people that were joining us and look forward to meeting the people that will be joining us. And again, I am Hollis Citron with I Am Creative and Express Yourself Publishing. And
And I'm LaChelle Amos with Silence of Sound Yoga.
yeah, so thank you, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon. So goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.